Zoe Williams is in the building. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Can everybody hit the like button? Everybody hit the like button. Please show your support. Yeah, we got another heater coming through for digitals. For shigadoodles. All I need is one mic. There we go. Wipe it down.
First of its kind in the nation, and the states of New York and Colorado recently voted to take on the issue. Dozens of cities from coast to coast, including San Francisco, Boston, Los Angeles, and Detroit, have started their own reparations commissions. One of the first known reparationists was Callie House, who toured the nation advocating for reparations in the 1890s. But never in this nation's history has the movement to heal the harms of enslavement, institutionalized racism, and the system of white supremacy seemed so strong. The topic remains untouchable for most elected officials, and the call for reparations has not yet garnered widespread public support. Polling shows that most Californians agree that black fellow citizens are still suffering from the damage done by slavery and Jim Crow, but they still
Everybody hit the like button.
support cash reparations. The California Legislative Black Caucus has introduced a package of proposals for bills that do not include one penny of cash compensation, restitution, or repair. Governor Newsom and other lawmakers have distanced themselves from the concept of cash payments. While Newsom is right, cash alone will not repair our collective harm, the state's goofy legislative package ignoring monetary payments is disingenuous. California lawmakers need to step up and put a reparations bill for cash payments on the table. The issue of how it is funded, the timeline, or whether it impacts our current budget challenges can be addressed. But we must strike while the iron is hot, or the window of opportunity will pass us by. If you agree that it's time for our lawmakers to add a bill enacting cash payments to their lineup, call them at 916-319-3868 and say, if it doesn't include cash, it ain't reparations. That's 916-319-3868. Tell him Callie House sent you. From Bruce's Beach to the California Task Force, the Golden State is a trailblazer when it comes to reparations. The world is watching. We must rise to the historical moment and set a precedent for cash payments along with legislative remedies and policies addressing the systemic badges of slavery and Jim Crow. We must insist on measures significant enough to help close the racial wealth gap. California must stand for cash, and the time for reparations is now. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Dominique DePrima. We welcome your comments.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light.
See the light.
you know not the messenger for me like pulling at the crossroads and for me. Search for the sneaky vibe. I find the path we got is a white touch. God, and you protect your home. Eyes on the front and the back of the head. It's so many forces. Who we meet and against the head. Only should bring the office. He's got the hashtag and the eye. I am a witness, I testify this. I'm the only king I sacrifice to the one who can do and
There are many individuals who often hold on to a misconception that if they don't believe in witchcraft, it cannot affect them. However, these individuals are unaware of how far their misconceptions deviate from reality. And when one disbelieves, dismisses, or outright rejects the existence of witchcraft, they are unknowingly giving witchcraft a significant advantage to oppress them without any resistance. This scripture clearly expresses this in Hosea 4 verse 6, where it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Here are 12 dreams indicating witchcraft activities in your life. Number 1. Eating in your dreams. If you often find yourself eating in your dreams, it is a clear sign of witchcraft activities in your life. Sometimes, you might think the food you eat in your dreams are just ordinary food. Spiritually speaking, these things you're eating are not ordinary. These are actually demonic items that the kingdom of darkness uses to feed and pollute your spirit. These dream meals act as magnets and covenants between you and the powers and forces of darkness. For instance, if you frequently find yourself eating meat, blood, or anything uncommon in your dreams, it's a clear sign that the devil is feeding you with defiled food and forming a covenant with you. When you wake up from such dreams, it's important to start your day by fasting and praying. If you do so, you allow the Spirit of God to flush out any unclean things you may have consumed while asleep. Dog bites. Dogs are known to be domestic pets, or are sometimes called man's best friend. But in the dream world, dogs are not always seen as man's best friend. They can take any shape or form. Dreaming of dog bites indicates signs of witchcraft attacks. Because dogs are often household pets, these types of witchcraft attacks often stem from those who are not...
Okay, wait a minute. No, this is getting weird. The voice of reason is back in the building with another powerful topic here. And this is very interesting because in doing the research for tonight's topic, people are like, no, not really. I guess people are experiencing this. Okay, cool. In doing the research for tonight's topic, right, I find that there's kind of like this metaphysical, spiritual, scriptural piece to it. And then there's this, connotative piece. So if the spiritual metaphysical piece is the denotative piece, then the connotative piece sounds to me a lot like nosy people, right? Back in the day, Big Mama would say, mind your business. Their business is their business, and your business is your business. Mind yours, right? So I'm seeing, just looking at, the different resources and people talking about it, it's either a spiritual take on it, a metaphysical take on it, or then there's this, people just want to be in your business and you shouldn't let people in your business because you want to be private. And I get that. I'm an exceedingly private person myself. But peep game. Have you ever dated what tonight's topic is going to be? Monitoring spirits is what they're calling it now. A monitoring spirit. They even try to back it up with Bible verses. I got the verses. Spiritual stalking. A deeper look at the effects of spiritual monitoring versus traditional stalking. Now, stalking is crazy. A lot of people do it. A lot of people have done it. Stalking is bananas. Now, social media has made stalking easier, right? And I have this conversation with my daughter nearly every other day. I'm really pressed right now to uh, delete all my social media, but look, even Andy looking at me crazy. I'm really pressed. I be thinking about it every day. Like, and my daughter's like, no, 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 no. You're a public figure, sir. This is a tool for marketing and promoting, and you know, I sometimes I just feel like there's too much access. People could just roll up on me like, "Yo, what's happening?" And I'm not really cool with that. I don't like, "Yo, what's happening?" I know, and Andy's over there juggling. He's like, "You got to juggle it, brother. You got." But for me, I go back and forth every other day. I'm like, "Today's the day." Yeah. And then my daughter's like, FaceTime. You bet not delete those accounts. But I'm really on that. So it's very interesting. Let me just say this, my personal experience with this, and we'll get into the metaphysical and ask all the questions later. But my personal experience with this is I believe our significant others are monitoring spirits. Yep, I do believe that because we live in a transactional society. They signed up for a particular outcome. They're always tapped into. It's almost like, let me check in on my investment. Are we close? Like, it's like me talking to the editor of my new book. I'm texting her. I'm a monitoring spirit in a sense. I'm texting her saying, hey, am I going to get the proposal today? How are we looking? You know what I'm saying? And so, in a lot of ways, I see our significant others as monitoring spirits. Let's not act like our significant others don't watch our social media. Let's not act like our significant others don't accidentally see somebody on our phone. Well, I wasn't trying to see anything on your phone, but when I walked past it, it just so happened to had been ringing, and I saw the name. You're hovering, hovers. So to me, monitoring spirits are in our relationships. Let me ask some questions, man. Spiritual stalking. What is spiritual stalking? I'm doing the metaphysical side of it or the spiritual side of it. I've found a lot of people talking about it, and there's Christian pastors talking about it like, yo, this is a real thing. What is a monitoring spirit? I feel like I need to answer that question right now. What is a monitoring spirit? Among some charismatic groups, a monitoring spirit is thought to be an evil spirit or demon that essentially monitors someone's behavior for the purpose of inflicting hurt and or pain into that person's life. A monitoring spirit is sometimes called a masquerading spirit or a watcher. Now, how do we separate that from our significant others? I know this is, you think I might be conflating. And I'm just saying, let's just think for a second. Most of our significant others really don't trust us. I know you don't want to hear it put that way, but most of our significant others really don't trust us. Why? Because most of us are in a relationship, or I would say in a more sound, stable relationship with our unhealed wounds than we are with the person. The person is there to either stand security for the unhealed wounds, to provide for the unhealed wounds, to be a protector of the unhealed wounds, right? Or, to facilitate some end goal for the person who is in the relationship. Let's just be honest, right? Let's just keep it a buck, right? They're there to give. You're supposed to give to me. I signed up for this, right? And I do believe that our significant others do everything that this description of a watcher spirit does. Let's see it again. Let's see it again. Read it again. Here it is. Among charismatic groups, a monitoring spirit is thought to be an evil spirit or a demon that essentially monitors someone's behavior for the purpose of inflicting pain or hurt into that person's life. Sounds like an intimate terrorist to me in a domestic violence situation. Would that person, typically a man, would he be a monitoring spirit? If you look at the domestic violence wheel of I guess, of coercion, you'll see he uses the threat of violence to control every aspect of the woman's life. The purse strings, who she talks to, who she goes, who she hangs, her friends, her family, all of that, right? Would that not be a monitoring spirit? Now, flip it. Women may not be punching a guy in the head, although those numbers are on the rise too. But let's take it out of domestic violence and let's just take it into narcissism, covert narcissism, and the desire for total, complete control. Is that not a monitoring spirit according to the definition I just gave? Huh. It's very interesting. I mean, the new generation come up with, they call it a monitoring spirit. Big Mama called it being nosy. Mind your business. But you'll find in intimate relationship, the nosiest person in your life is typically your significant other. When I come forward, I'm opening the phone lines. I want to talk to you guys. What are your thoughts on monitoring spirits? I want to know what you know. It's so much more than that. You got to call in. Come on. Come on. I'll tell her, listen, playing dumb is part of my whole get down. I can't.
We playing drops today?
Yes. No, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes I love the drops,
Okay.
but I love them so much I don't want to burn them.
Fair enough. But it's become part of your show though now.
I know.
So how are you burning something that's a part of your show? It's like your theme song.
I know, but I was talking to Guy Black,
Okay.
and Guy Black was like, always switch up.
I'm with that. But I would rather switch up maybe the presentation or how you deliver the show as opposed to me those are like benchmarks.
You
That's
mean these are like the foundational bedrocks
Yes,
and all of that? I see what you're saying.
You feel me?
I get it.
You know?
I get it.
Maybe if we're talking switch up, I would say maybe a day with no clips.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe a day with people calling in. This is the Ask Zoe show tonight.
Right.
Any relationship questions you have, this is the time to call.
Right.
That's how I would see the switch up.
Right.
That's me.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. Helping to broaden your political and moral message with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. KBLA Talk 1580.
11:30.
Let's get it. Hey, Nikki, you should call in too. You guys could give me some kind of perspective here. I need the education. Come on, Attila, Nikki. That is some lurking for your ass. You ain't lying.
VOR is the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Clip right after.
Peace and blessings, Mark the Messenger. We're back in another video. Man, I'm so excited to make this video because this type of video is going to save someone's life. A lot of you guys have demons in your life and you have no idea. Now, it is up to you. With this video, I'm going to give you guys the information. It is up to you to, remove those demons, take those demons out, use your own discernment, using, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, being led by the Holy Spirit. But, I'm just a messenger. So let's go. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. The number one sign someone's a demon, this is the number one sign. Y'all know nothing is ever in order, but this is number one. Demons will always attempt, they will always attempt to provoke you to rage, to provoke you to wrath, to provoke you to anger, This is another form of energy harvesting, to draining your energy, which I'm going to talk about in number two, The main goal of a demon is to get you to jump out of character, because when you jump out of character, now you're more prone to doing things out of regret. Now you're more prone to doing things out of emotion, And through a lot of emotion and, doing things out of character, you're going to wake up the next day, why did I do that? Because that demon provoked you. This is a spiritual warfare, and demons love to get you to go out of the character. Demons love to get you to operate out of God's will in your life. So now you could be, like them, going back and forth. And best believe, when you go back and forth with a demon, you're now lowering yourself, and that demon's going to beat you with experience, Because demons they're only used to staying down low, being a demon, being on demon time, being demonic. They're used to that. But you being a child of God, you being a chosen one, maybe we used to do that in the past, but we overcame that, We had the Holy Spirit to let us all things, and now we don't need to troll and scoff and, always be led to debate. We don't got to do that, So one thing about what a demon does, they love to do this. They love to provoke you, to get you to go out of character, to get you to be mad, angry, And you have to understand your solution to this is to ignore them. Demons hate when you ignore them, because when you ignore them, now, they're not getting your energy, which I'm going to go with number two, which I'm going to explain that more. Demons are energy vampires, They love to drain.
Sounds like a narcissist.
Any way a demon could drain you of your energy.
Bring me in. What are we doing? Is this Harry Potter? Is that you, Potter? No. Everything he's explaining sounds like narcissism, sounds like covert narcissism, sounds like mental illness. Doesn't sound. And I understand my religious folk who want to say, nah. And let me just say this. I'll agree with you. Those people who suffer from whatever, malady, what do they call it? Intellectual diversity. That's the new thing. Okay, cool. Whatever people are suffering from whatever, right? I go old school with it. They're a little off. Something wrong. you know, how Big Mama you say something off with that boy you bring around here. He can't come in. He got to stay on the porch. When he's with you, y'all stay on the porch. You understand? That's all I'm saying. And a lot of times in relationships, And listen, you can look at it as curriculum, right? The spiritual curriculum, the curriculum of you, the knowledge of self, whatever you want to see it as, right? You can look at it as that. You could also look at it as internal demons. Unhealed wounds cause havoc in your spirit. It causes havoc in your relationships. And for all intents and purposes, I guess you can say those are demons, right? In the realm of metaphysics and spirituality, the concept of spiritual stalking delves into the mysterious and often unsettling phenomenon of monitoring spirits and their impact on individuals' lives, right? Drawing from the field of shamanism, psychology, and cosmology, we embark on a journey to unravel the complexities of spiritual stalking and its profound implication on human consciousness, right? And when I say spiritual stalking, do you know? Um, I had an ex-girlfriend once tell me, like, during an extended time where we didn't talk, she basically told me, like, yeah, I checked in on you. I said, what? What you mean? She was like, yeah, through a dream. Like I came and saw you. I was like, what? Listen, astral projection. What I listen. And I'm not going to say that I am Western in my thought. I'm not Western. But part of me is. There's a part of me that is naturally skeptical. Like, show me. Come over here now. I want to see, show me, prove it to me, right? So that's the metaphysical side, monitoring spirits. Then on the younger side, you got the youngsters basically saying, you got people who find out about your business and then really start praying and hexing and calling in spirits around what you want to do. They're really trying to knock you off your course. Oh man, when we come forward, we're going to get even deeper. We got callers too. Let's get it. Hey, I don't know, man. Prince, that boy different. Listen, we 30 minutes in. We got 100 people in the chat. Can we get y'all to support? Can everybody in the chat room, moderators assemble, can everybody in the chat room send $5 to my Cash App? Look, it's 102 people in here. If everybody sent $5 to my Cash App, that would be an amazing show of support. Can we get everybody to drop 5 on it? Hey, Glendon Johnson, you say that every time you come in here, brother, and I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. I'm glad I was able to make a positive impact, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Moderators, please encourage these folks. Please encourage the people that are in here to send that 5 spot to my Cash App or even send it to the Super Chat. The Super Chat is a little $sign down at the bottom of the chat. Please support. Show your, what is that? Bessie is the first Cash App. I'm going to shout out everybody. We got 5 minutes. Anybody who sends it right now, I'm going to shout them out. Thank you, B. I don't know how to say your last name. Basie? B. Basie? Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. If I see it, I'm going to shout it out. So do it now. Let's get a roll call going. I don't know how to say it. Truemonger, $5 on the Cash App, on the Super Chat. We appreciate it. Yes. Who is this? Ola number 7. That's your first Cash App, brother. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. That's your first super chat. Sorry. So, what is the name of the song with the girl singing the African chants that plays before you talk, sir? The name of the song is called Eshu. ESU. Eshu. ESU. It's on Apple. It's on iTunes. It's called Eshu. Truemonger. Come on, Truemonger gave him both spots. The super chat and the cash app. I think LS just dropped a cash app. So I've been down with you since 2014. Nothing but love, brother. And I appreciate it. I respect it. I appreciate it. But let me just tell you, man, your brother Zoe Williams, I done learned some shit, man. I done grew up. Situations have taught me some different shit. Man, I'm coming into another evolutionary phase in my life. I'm starting to see, put this way. You guys heard me talk about my homeboy, the shaman, right? Seer Carl. My homeboy, he's a shaman. I spoke with him today. And it was just random. I shot him a text randomly, and he was like, "Oh, yeah." He was like, You must have remembered our conversation in the subconscious world last night." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, I saw you in the dream world last night." And then he was like, "Yo," he said, "Man," he said, "I tell you this every time I see you there. I say, you are a being of unknown proportion." That's what he says, right? He was like, "You are a being of unknown proportion." So we're talking. And then he goes, he says, "I see you've activated the other 2 etheric cords that protrude from the top of your crown chakra." He said, "The last time I saw you, one was fully on, one was partially on, and the other one was off." He said, "But that's still crazy." He said, "Because the average person only has 1 etheric cord." He says, "You have 3." And then he says, "But now that I see you, all of them are on, like full blast. Like, what's going on? What has happened? What has transpired?" Then, as I'm talking to him, he goes, "No, no, no. I know what's transpired." Then he starts telling me what has transpired. I'm like, "Yo, Carl is crazy." Hey, Lloyd Hinton, thank you. He starts telling me details. He starts dropping dates. And then around this time, this happened. I'm going, "Carl." He's like, "Yeah, man, I know I ain't been around in a while." He said, "But I'm always in touch with you in the subconscious." And he was like, "The fact that you called me," he was like, "that's confirmation that you remember we talked." I said, "What? I don't remember shit. Carl is ill." He was like, "Yo," he said, "just think about me tonight before you go to bed, and we'll do it again."
Exclusive subscriber. So we rocking with the. Oh.
You want the drop? No drop.
Clip back.
All right.
You're listening to the voice of reason, the voice of reason with Bill Williams, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
exposes. They feel the heat between me and you. Lonely, the world is so cold. Maybe I'm just like my father. Too bold, maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied.
Monitoring spirits are demonic entities sent by the devil to gather information about individuals. This is because the devil relies on information to strategize how he can best attack you. If there is one thing the devil is very good at, it's patience. He knows how to take his time, plan, and then launch. And the truth of the matter is, a vast majority of people are being monitored by the devil, but are just not aware of it. In this video, I'm going to share 5 major signs that you may be under surveillance from these spirits, but you aren't aware. So without wasting your time, let's get started. Sign number 1, the constant feeling of being watched. The first sign that a monitoring spirit might be after you is an unexplained sense of being watched or followed. Have you ever been somewhere alone, but yet you suddenly feel like someone or something was staring at or following you? Then you look around but find nothing. But down deep you have this nagging feeling that something is watching you. At first you might think you are just imagining things, but no, it's not always the case. This actually happened in the Bible. In the book of Job, chapter 4, verses 12 to 16, a young man named Eliphaz described a frightening scenario he had that illustrates this phenomenon. He said, "A spirit went past my face, and the hair on my body stood up. The spirit stopped, but I could not tell what it was. A form stood before my eyes, and I heard a hushed voice." Eliphaz sensed a presence, heard whispers, and felt the spirit go past and stopped in front of him. He knew there was something around him, yet he wasn't quite clear what it was. That is exactly how monitoring spirits work. Let me explain. Even though you are a physical human being, you have a spirit that dwells within you. So even though you are physically awake, your spirit man is also able to sense spiritual activities around you. The Bible calls this the spirit of discernment. This is how Apostle Paul was able to tell that the little girl who had followed him in Acts chapter 16 was operating from a demonic spirit. If you keep having a sense of a negative presence around you, it is important to take time and seek God in prayers, because these
Pause it. Pause it. Listen, I do not believe that Western science is infallible. I don't believe it's beyond reproach. But what's being said is quite interesting to me. Maybe we're not technologically advanced enough. Can you imagine if your unhealed wounds are the demons this guy is talking about? And can you imagine if those demons could leave your body at night? Could come out, show up as a phantasm of sorts? This is, and I'm only postulating this. This is just me saying, what if that is the case? See, we think listening to Carl Jung, right? Carl Jung, right? Or some people say Carl Jung. I say Carl Jung. We think that, these unhealed wounds only manifest through argument, through conflict. Maybe they also manifest through energy, frequency, vibration. Now I'm becoming a little less skeptical. What if narcissism had a spiritual energy associated with it? What if dismissive avoidant or BPD or whatever had a spiritual energy, malignant narcissism? Grandiose narcissism. What if that has an energy? Maybe even your attachment style. And remember, John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, their attachment style, even though we study it, their attachment theory is still a theory. So, in other words, it still has work to be done. There's still information to be found and discovered. What if all these other things carry a frequency and a vibration and an energetic form that could potentially leave your body? Maybe they aren't only expressed through relational conflict. It gives a whole new meaning to sleeping with the enemy. Maybe your significant other really isn't monitoring you. Maybe the monster inside of them is monitoring you through their eyes. I don't want to scare people. We got callers. Let's get the callers in here, man. We done set this thing up. Are you sleeping with the monitoring spirit? Oh, here we go. Sean, Oakland, California. Get in here.
Wow, brother. Well, let me tell you something. I mean, you've hit on so many notes. It's hard to keep up, but I'll tell you what. Two things. I don't like to say this. I got young kids, but sex and money, they're undefeated. They're undefeated, and that then goes to these things that you say, like jock sniffers, right? Because I didn't make it to the big leagues and stuff, but people want to be close to entertainers and athletes and stuff, and the term is jock sniffing, and as opposed to just being like, hey, give you a high five, give you a knuckles, and say hi. Just say hi. Just say hi to these people. Don't put them on a pedestal. But the other one is stalking, right? So, yeah, stalking. Like, that's a little different element. That goes one step further, right? And when they're doing that to you, you have to remember why they're doing that. If someone's that desperate to be around you, people, please. No, that's not the person. Maybe you can keep in contact with them, but that's not the person you want to be around you because they're desperate. You don't know why they're desperate, but that's what stalking is. And the other thing is negative, brother. Negative vibes. You bring negative into someone's family or anyone. You bring negative in. The thing we work, in my opinion, and I'll tell everyone out there, work so hard to not have negative coming to your family. And be an example, because you have negative stuff happening in your life every single day. But don't put that out to other people. Put the positive thing, how you're handling it, how you solving problems. How are you doing that? How are you solving problems? Say, I'm solving problems. You're checking in. Thank you for checking in. And I check in all the time, Brother Zoe. And by the way, anytime you need to tap on me, it's all good.
Thank you, my brother. You brought Oakland, California in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me 1-800-920-1580. It's getting deeper than Atlantis. When I come forward, the VOR is going to keep this fire lit. Let's do it.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with patent irritation defense bar and skin care regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shea irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Are you tired of being stuck without internet access? Connect and go with LA County.
Wow, you guys are right on time. What's up, Rashawn?
LA County Library location and borrow a hotspot for free to get Wi-Fi wherever
Everybody hit the like button. We're at $24.99 on the super chat. We appreciate everybody for showing their love. We appreciate everybody for supporting. We do, we do, we do. Hey, Glendon, thank you, brother. Hey, ain't nothing to be sorry about, man. No, seriously, man, I appreciate the fact that you come in here and you say what's up. I appreciate that. You come in here, you say what's up, you acknowledge the work that I've done on the 5150 show. Nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love.
Sharing and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper community share Facebook group page or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com.
Yo, this shit crazy.
Click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
5:30.
Shit is crazy.
This is GBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. It's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. GBLA Talk 1580. You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Right after.
A stalker who is incompetent. Stalking is a pretty serious crime, and it's taken us a lot of years, at least, I'm going to say maybe between 20, 30 years, and that's just an estimate, for all 50 states within the United States to be able to hold stalkers accountable. It wasn't until multiple stories of stalking occurred that the United States began to jump into action to figure out what to do to rectify the issue. It's not something that you can just experience 1 minute and completely detach from the next minute. It's stalking takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot from you in terms of your willpower, in terms of your freedom, right? And just your psychological freedom. It traps you because you are afraid. You're uncertain as to what this person may or may not do. And if it's a family member, you're really confused as to why they've chosen you as the victim. Let me introduce myself really briefly in case you're new to this channel. My name is Tamara. I'm internationally and I'm board certified as a trauma therapist. I'm licensed in mental health. I specialize in treating children, teens, and families, as well as adults, who are dealing with trauma in my private practice. Let's jump in. So I'm usually in my office, but tonight I decided to go home early. So my environment is a little bit different, okay? So bear with me. You'll see me back in the office in some of my other videos. So
this is getting wild. It's only stalking after we break up. In the relationship, I get stalked. Okay. I had a girlfriend who was psychic. Okay. She was able to look into my house. Where is the privacy, man? It's only stalking once we break up. Am I wrong? Most of our partners are monitoring spirits. I believe. Right? I believe. If you got like mutant powers, extrasensory perception, you should lay that on the table up front and let me know if, because I don't even know if I want to deal with that. I don't think privacy does exist. But when we talk about these two conflicting narratives of what a monitoring spirit is, you got this, you got the spiritual side that's talking about how people can, the spiritual side, metaphysical side is this: don't tell people your business, because people will put your business in a prayer ritual to try to block you from achieving it. And this is a big thing that's happening everywhere, right? Don't tell people nothing about what you're doing. But if I'm looking at somebody's divorce, right? If I'm looking at some celebrity who just got divorced, right? Isn't their spouse outing everything they've done? Were they spiritually monitoring? Are they a monitor in that sense? Are they nosy in that sense? The biggest snitches in relationships are the people in the relationship. Can somebody tell me if I'm lying? Call in. I want to. The biggest snitches in relationships are the people that are in the relationship. And I think this snitching comes from the duration of time they've spent in relationship with you. So to me, they're monitoring spirits, in my opinion. If you agree or disagree, you can call me 1-800-920-1580. I've got callers on the line. I'm going to get them on right now because I know they hate being on hold. Attila, Houston, Texas, you've been on the longest. What are your thoughts?
What's up, Uncle Zoe? How are you?
I'm good. I'm just bugging out right now. This whole topic is crazy.
It is. I see you. I mean, okay, so, man, where to start? You mentioned the ex watching your house and all of that. I mean, to me, the idea of someone who's monitoring you, right, it's already off. The energy is already weird. Because call me, talk to me. There's there's no need to do that. But I think the key component here when we're talking about monitoring spirits is the purpose. What is the purpose behind them monitoring you, right? Like, it's one thing if you have a nosy friend. It's another thing if you have a friend of me who's looking to derail your destiny. Those are two different things. Personally, I think these are just what they are. They are spirits. It's not a person. It's an entity that can move from person to person. Like I mentioned in the chat, it's just like that Denzel movie, Fallen, in the 90s. You know, these spirits do happen.
You talking about Azazel?
Yeah.
Time is on my side. Yes,
Exactly.
it
Yeah,
is. You talking about him? Okay.
I mean that's a very extreme example, right? Like I mean we would call that a demonic spirit, right, in the church, but if we're talking about just a monitoring spirit, right, I think we should examine our relationships a little bit closer, right? Like, you know, a lot of us want people to be there for us when things are bad. But ask yourself, is that person only there for you when things are bad? There's something to that, possibly, right?
So,
And
I,
it's not the sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just so fascinated by tonight's topic. But to me, I just see so many similarities between just regular people in your relationship doing the same thing, monitoring and really archiving, and then at a later date use it against you anyway, whether it's a ritual or not. They're going to use it against you anyway. What are your thoughts on the differences between the metaphysical definition of, I guess, spiritual monitoring and what Big Mama called just being nosy?
Well, I mean, like, if we're just talking about someone just nosy and throwing something back in your face, then to me, it is that. It is just that. If we're talking about spiritual, when you add that spiritual component, that's different. Those are the people that watch your stories and don't like it or don't comment. You know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, a different, how do I say this? It's different because they're using other means, covert means. To me, someone throwing something in your face that you yourself told them is not the same thing as someone who maybe you don't talk to as much, but they're kind of fishing for information.
No, no, no.
And
Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't leave. Don't leave, because all of this is young language, and I'm learning. This is young language, and I'm learning because I don't really know the dynamics of this. But this is big stuff, and I've heard some of these words said to me. This is good when we come forward. More from Attila from Houston, Texas. That shit slap. Nah, that shit different. That shit different.
Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The U.S. Coast Guard says search and rescue efforts have ended.
Yeah, you told that. Yeah. And I guess you didn't respond, and then she hit you up. I don't want to fuck with you ever again or something. Yeah. From her? Oh, you don't know who it's from. That's psycho right there. What is that, BPD? That's so see? You got some revelation right there. Dealing with a bipolar. And that sounds like bipolar activity. How you go from one extreme to the next? I really think you gotta stop engaging, man. Keep it that way.
This shit crazy.
For real.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
what's on the playlist next?
Girls and boys.
Oh, that shit slap. Okay, replace Raspberry Beret. Put Lady Cab Driver.
Lady Cab Driver.
Yeah, Lady Cab Driver.
Sure.
What up, though, Zoe? Too fly to fall, huh? I got you. Man, you've been on YouTube for 14 years. Why you only got 2 subscribers? The fuck?
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
Cause yeah, apparently you hella in the cut.
I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a bad person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about this? Every step. The child wasn't here,
Respect.
and you still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
Oh, is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have
Shit,
so many
right.
questions I want to ask you.
I don't like the kisses. This gonna be a roll up there.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. I hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his
Ooh.
Why can't you open up?
Boy.
Spider-Man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
How do you write my name so well?
So Williams,
And it kind of goes.
the voice of reason. Hey, 42 here. You've seen stalking in movies and on TV. But unless you've had an obvious stalking experience, most of you will probably think that it's something that never happens to you. We think that stalking is something that only happens to other people. But there's a good chance that you've been a victim of stalking. In most cases, however, you will never be able to know for sure. The internet and social media make stalking so easy for the stalker, yet so difficult to identify for the victim. Over 7 million people are stalked in the US each year. But how does a stalker manipulate their prey? What drives them to stalk in the first place? Let's step inside the mind of a stalker and uncover some disturbing psychology. The vast majority of stalking, roughly 80%, is domestic stalking, meaning the perpetrator is someone the victim knows, a friend, family, or most commonly, an ex-partner. Stalking can sometimes be mild or just very well concealed, and thus most stalking victims don't actually realize they've been stalked. If you want to assess whether or not you've ever been stalked, simply ask yourself, have you ever received an unwanted gift? Or perhaps a series of strange phone calls or anonymous mail? Then you've probably been stalked. In domestic stalking cases involving ex-partners, the obsessive behavior usually begins following a breakup, as I'm sure you probably already know. But what's quite interesting is the psychological process that the man or woman in question goes through to begin stalking the other. Stalkers, following a breakup, often report a feeling very similar to the grief felt after the death of a loved one. Stalking usually begins when one person attempts to keep in contact with the ex and they don't reciprocate or, straight up, ignore them. Therefore, they feel as though that person is forever lost to them, similar to a death. The grief this causes can, in some people, trigger a panic response. Many stalkers actually equate it to being remarkably similar to a panic attack. This panic causes them to become obsessed about trying everything they can to re-establish that lost channel of communication. And when you get people with a borderline personality disorder, which is typically diagnosed in around 2% of the population, you have a recipe for disaster. Because such people will take that obsession to anywhere it needs to go to achieve the goal of gaining their ex's attention once again, even if that involves acts of extreme violence. Unlike stranger stalkers, who we'll talk about in just a moment, domestic stalkers tend to act out impulsively instead of in a premeditated manner. Impulsive behavior, however, is usually far more dangerous. You can identify when an ex's obsession with you has crossed over into dangerous territory by examining the current state of their life. You see, as a domestic stalker's obsession levels increase, the rest of their life falls apart around them. It's consistent in stalking cases for the stalker to lose their job as a result of their obsession, and they will also stop eating and sleeping. What makes domestic stalkers so dangerous is that they truly believe that they are the victim. Here's the thing. A domestic stalker never thinks they are a stalker. Consequently, you can never stop a stalker by calling them out on it and saying, "You're a stalker, so please stop stalking me." It's only likely to make the problem worse because they will feel more victimized. Whether they actually are the victim or not depends on the circumstances of each individual case.
This is what's happening in relationships, y'all. This is crazy. I think crazy is politically incorrect now. I don't think we should say crazy. This is different. Do you see why I get so deep on the relationship topics when I start asking about how to peel these layers back first within yourself and then being able to recognize them in others? This is deep. Monitoring spirits, hour number 2. Traditional stalking, the regular, yeah, I know where she get her hair done and I drove by there. That version versus what people are calling spiritual monitoring. It's all starting to come together as one big mess to me. We've got Attila from Houston, Texas. Attila, you were dropping some jewels, and I really need more contextual understanding of this.
Okay. A big part of this, right? I think when you're talking about monitoring spirits, they bank on your naivete, meaning that you're probably still talking to them, especially if it's a family member or a significant other. And they also bank on you not fighting back. So once you start praying about something, don't be surprised if some people show up.
Wait. Once you start doing what?
Once you start praying about it,
wow.
Don't be surprised if the people show up. And what I mean by praying, let's say you're going through something in your relationship with someone, right? And you're kind of getting this feeling, like I said, of being watched or just being, you're not at ease. Something about it is just weird to you, right? And so if you have a strong prayer life, I really do feel like your prayers do reach out, so to speak. And so, yeah, they will know. And I don't think I'm not saying that they're consciously aware, but I've literally seen this happen where, like, I pray about a situation and this person will literally show up. It's kind of weird. But not to get too woo-woo.
Because I'm scared. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Aren't you not scared? Look, all things you didn't see, I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not scared. The key is not to be fearful. That's a low vibration. Anytime you're scared, I mean, like, to me, you're honestly kind of giving them fuel in a sense.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though, because I'm from the old school. Big Mama taught my mama, and my mama taught me. They said, "Baby, none of that stuff matters if you don't believe it. You belong to Jesus, child. If you don't believe it, it has no power over you whatsoever." Is that true?
No.
The Big Mama was wrong? Oh, no.
I think that things, because I was taught that something similar as well. I mean, like, just pray over it. Nobody taught me about fasting. When I say fasting, I'm talking about not eating. Okay, put the fork down.
Put it down.
I'm just saying, nobody mentioned that, okay? But no, I don't think that's true. I mean, kind of like they say, ignorance of the law. I forgot the rest of the blah, blah, blah. Something about ignorance of the law does not mean that you can transgress the law. Essentially, if I didn't see the sign and I sped past it, I'm still accountable for that. So, no, I don't believe.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, it's not the boogeyman. I think you need to really understand that. It's not the boogeyman. These are entities that can come into anyone. I mean, to me, again, if your frequency is low, if you are dining on gossip, if you are, and I say dining and like consuming, if you are dining on, depressive thoughts, whatever it is, your thought life, like to me, that's like blood to a vampire.
Well,
You know what I mean?
wait,
Like,
I got more questions now because you just keep opening up Pandora's box. What you're basically saying is telepathy is real.
Yeah, in a sense.
That's what you're saying to me right now.
In a sense, yes. If we're talking about just like spiritually, right? Your connections with people, when you are intimately connected with someone, what does that really mean to be intimate with somebody? It's not just sharing, stories about what happened to you in your childhood. I think it's a lot deeper than that. I do believe that, and if you want to add the physical component in there, you start sleeping with somebody, you are really connected to that person. Okay, I have literally had dreams about a person that I was dealing with and woke up in pain from the dream. I mean, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. You wouldn't think that would be possible, right? But, I also feel like some of this comes with spiritual discernment as well. Like, everyone doesn't really have eyes to see and ears to hear, right? So if you're walking around spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind, this kind of stuff is going to be, like, nonsense to you. So there's that part of it as well. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, common sense stuff. Be careful who you're sharing your business with. Watch the patterns in your life, right? If you tell someone about a job interview and you know this person is kind of janky, and then all of a sudden you don't get that job, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, if you tell someone about, your business with your relationship with somebody, and then all of a sudden there's more problems in your relationship after that, that doesn't necessarily mean that person has been talking less about you. It could just be them casting dispersion on your relationship. And you don't really know who has secret animosity against you, because let's think about it. I mean, like, for someone to betray you, that would imply that they were close to you at some point.
Wait, stop.
Right?
Can this also... Now, like I said, the Pandora's box is happening. My mind is just moving like, what in the... So, if a person sabotages a relationship, is this an extension of monitoring? They have to have some type of intel in order to sabotage it, right?
You mean actively or passively?
Actively and passively and or actively.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say yes. I mean, you don't know what that person's dealing with either, right? Like, if they have people attached to them, family members, whoever, that again don't like your relationship, or there's some issues there, whatever the case, and they're speaking words of discouragement over that person, or, like, it doesn't have to always be so, he said this and they did that. Sometimes it's literally just thoughts that are put into your mind. Because you think about it, in order to be a monitoring spirit, I would have to have the intel. So people that have the intel about your situation, be that someone you're attached to or someone your person is attached to, I definitely believe that can affect your relationship. And so, again, when that energy is off, you got to question, who are they connected to? Who they've been talking to? Who was it? Tyrese's ex-wife. She even said, well, that her friends or whatever kind of like made her, I shouldn't say made her, because that no one can make you divorce your spouse. That's the act that you take. But people can definitely, I think, put bugs in your ear. In a sense, be a monitoring spirit. But at the same time, you opened up the door. You thinking this your friend, this your homegirl, this your da-da-da-da-da, telling her all this and that. And then next thing you know, it's a wrap.
Oh, my
goodness.
I
mean, I say all that to say, it's some of this is spooky spiritual, and some of it is really just common sense.
Okay, one final question then. Who's more hip to this information in our community? Black men or black women?
I've seen black men and black women talk about this, actually.
I said, who is more? And I don't think it's a more or less. No, let me just say this. I believe that men are less spiritual than women. I believe brothers is out here grinding. Brothers is out here. I never heard no brother sit down and say, you know what? It's some spiritual monitoring going on in here. I have yet to see it. And I'm not saying that there aren't brothers out there that do have a deep knowledge of this. I'm not saying, but I would wager that women, our sisters, are more tapped into this than our brothers are. I would wager, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that part of that is because there's an emotional aspect to this too, right? If you're not really emotionally in touch with yourself, it's really hard to tap into this type of information, in my opinion.
Okay, so back to my original point for bringing that up. Brothers, run! They praying over you, brother. You don't even know. Brother, get your stuff and run, man. Oh, Lord.
I mean, okay, an easy fix for that. Don't be so caught up on the TNA.
Okay,
that's real simple.
then that's fair. But
people know what you like, okay? The women that come, quote unquote, coming after you, you're not a victim in that. They know what you like, and because you're so attached to the 3D, they're just using it against you. That's real easy.
This is good.
That's child's play for a lot of these witches out here.
For a lot of these witches out here. Hey, Nzinga says they're praying, Preying. They not praying for you. They are praying on you. Attila, guess what you just did?
Houston in the building.
Whoo, Lord, Houston, Texas is in the building. Do you want to bring your city in the building? Everybody is welcome. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Let's get it. Whoa. Attila. Fire, Attila. Straight fire. That's crazy. Huh. That's crazy. That's crazy. No, I'm fucked up over this show right now because you really have no fucking idea who's in your circle. You take people at face value. You think people are real people. You think they're cool. You have no fucking idea. Like, you really have no idea who you done brought into your space. Listen, I done had a couple readings, right? And they'll say, hey, man, somebody put a whoop whoop on you. Somebody is doing this, whop whoop. And I'm like, what? Come on, man. Said, no, dog. Like, somebody done put the whoop-de bap on you, dog. And I'm like, what? Like, there is a natural skepticism in me where I will be like, nah, man, get out of here. But listening to the show as it's happening and putting bits and pieces of things I've heard and pulling it all together, I'm like, that's what it is. Woo, tapped in, said you don't see the spirit coming. Coverted, boy. Okay. This shit crazy. I love it, Nzinga. You should call in and say that. I want to hear that. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA
the cute, saucy love I sing. Need the two, plenty to be. Love to kiss on the steps of the sun. Like rain on the birds that fly. I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me on another one, space and jump. We'll set you down on the girls and girls. Give her all the love, anyone can.
This is Dr. Grande. Today's question asks, what is borderline stalking? So I've seen this question a few times in kind of related questions. Another related question here would be, what is fatal attraction syndrome? Which of course isn't a real syndrome, it's just a term people use sometimes to really refer to the stalking behavior that we sometimes see with borderline personality disorder. The reason we see the term fatal attraction in there is because of a 1987 movie by the same name with Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. So this movie portrayed behavior that could be attributed to borderline personality disorder, and we've seen other movies that kind of follow the same pattern. So really what this question is getting at is, what is the relationship between borderline personality disorder and stalking? And I think when we think of borderline personality disorder, people think of the frantic efforts to avoid abandonment and kind of connect that to stalking. So first I'll start with a definition of stalking. With stalking, we see an offender who exhibits chronic nuisance behaviors that result in deleterious emotional or physical effects on a victim. And it's believed to come from an illogical or irrational fascination or preoccupation with an individual, and sometimes it can rise to the level of psychosis, so there can be reality testing problems involved with stalking. Now, sometimes in the research literature, we see another term used instead of stalking called unwanted pursuit behavior. And this is similar, there's a lot of overlap with stalking, but usually unwanted pursuit behavior is thought of as more widespread and less severe as compared to stalking. Also, stalking does not necessarily result from an intimacy motive, and it's always illegal. Unwanted pursuit behavior doesn't necessarily cause fear or threaten the victim, and it's not always illegal. One way we could think about unwanted pursuit behavior and its relationship to stalking could be unwanted pursuit behavior, again, like I said, isn't necessarily illegal, but if it occurs for too long a period of time, it could rise to the level of stalking. So one tactic, as they're called, with unwanted pursuit behavior may not be illegal, may not even be abnormal, but if it continues for a while, then we might have stalking. So we see in the media that the stereotype of a stalker involves a stranger who stalks a celebrity. But what we see in reality is relational stalking, not stranger stalking, is the most prototypical form of stalking behavior. 80% of all stalking cases involve victims and perpetrators who had some type of prior relationship, and in half of all stalking scenarios, we see the individuals had a prior romantic relationship. Now, some of the descriptive statistics around stalking are really ranges rather than precise numbers, because we see a lot of different studies on this topic and a lot of variation in terms of the results. For example, around 8 to 25% of women will be a victim of stalking at some point in their lives, and about 2 to 11% of men will be victims at some point in their lives. Now, with unwanted pursuit behavior, we see that 37% of ex-partners exhibit at least one of these tactics after a failed relationship. So unwanted pursuit behavior is remarkably common compared to stalking. Also, we see a number of benign tactics associated with unwanted pursuit behavior, like watching or monitoring or making exaggerated expressions of affection. With stalking, we see behaviors that are often considered more serious, as I indicated before. And if we look at the behaviors...
Boy, this gets deep, deep, deeper than Atlantis. The voice of reason, man. This is crazy. Well, I don't want to keep saying crazy, but I'm from a different generation. We say everything was crazy. right? It's a connotative thing. Not, I don't want to use the denotation to offend anybody. Wow, but this is deep. How do you know if someone is a monitoring spirit, aka nosy, all up in the beeswax? I've already said listen, anytime you enter into a relationship, it is with a stalker. I'm just saying, for most people who ain't healed, if you insecure, you gonna stalk your significant other. You gonna stalk your significant other. I'm sorry. All right. We got callers on the line. Let's get them in here. They've been on for a long time. Twan, Jacksonville, Florida. It's your time to shine. Talk to me.
Greetings, sir. How are you doing this evening?
I'm alive and well, my friend. I'm alive and well.
Oh, that's what's up. That's good to hear. All right. My story begins. A while ago, I got this thing called ether in me about 2011. With the heavy vibrations in the body, major pulsating and everything. And then when I was on Facebook, this guy, the 13th Son, came into the building and started posting videos on my feed on how he was going to help me transition. He was telling me stories on how the vibration and the pulsating in my body meant that my Merkaba was activating and stuff like that. So I kind of believed everything he was telling me from there on in, and then it just turned out to be a whole mess after that.
Wait, stop. This is about to get real deep. This is about to get real deep, Twan. Is that how I say your name, Twan? This about to get deep. Well, listen, hold tight. Stay with me. When we come forward, we're going back to Jacksonville, Florida, because apparently my man Twan got a story to tell. Love is so real. Say that you will.
No, seriously, bro? Yeah. 2024 been nuts, dog. 2024 has been bananas, dog. Like, it's been on some different shit.
Chickens coming home to roost, man. Careful out here, man.
This shit nuts. I was finna go get that water. That water gone. But I guess he threw it away.
Yeah. That shit crazy. I cannot wrap my head around it. Listen. Can we get our folks to hit that Cash App? Do it right now for me. I'd appreciate it. Who wants to donate to the cigar fund? I would like to have a really nice cigar at the end of the day. Come support your brother's cigar fund. Can everybody who's in the chat right now just drop $5 on my Cash App, super chat, whatever. Please support. We'd appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Listen, this show different than a motherfucker. Is it me? Or is this thing different? That's an interesting question. Can a monitoring spirit be one who is a watchdog of sorts? Someone who just wants to know you're good? I believe it. God damn. Like a protective friend, they still have boundaries. This 2024 trip is crazy, crazy good. That's what I was just telling Andy. I said, Andy, 2024 been off the chain on the VOR. I don't know, is it me or these topics we just said, okay, let's go all the way to the end of the road, right? You know? Like all the show, like, yeah, it's been crazy. It has really been crazy. It has been madness. Yes. It has been straight madness. What in the world? Attila, is that one of your friends on the line? Is Twan slappers are us? Yeah, staying on point. Like it's been really different. I want to get everybody to hit the like button, please. A Bible of sorts. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, this been different. Now I know what I know. I know some shit now. Ooh, I know what I know. I know what I know now. God damn it. Tell you that. Shit crazy. This shit crazy. I really gotta move. Yep, Gemini time. I got to pack my shit and move. Yeah. What the fuck? Nope. The market is slow. But yeah, I got to get the fuck on. No, I do. This show was provocative at the least. You ain't lying. Mm.
Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Texan. Promise I could tell you no lies. And I don't know if I can last.
Narcissists will stalk you on social media. A lot of times they'll end up stalking because they don't believe what you're actually putting up there. They don't believe that you're happy because in their mind, you still want them. In their mind, your best life was when you were with them and you can't do any better than them. So even to the fact that like there's been narcissists that they've seen online a person get married and they're like, oh, they're just faking it. Like they didn't even get married. They're just doing that to try to be able to hurt me. Because you have to remember, they take everything and they're going to try to twist it around and put it in their mind that they're the number one person. So they'll do that oftentimes. Other times they'll stalk just to be able to try to have control over someone, to be able to still obsess over someone, to try to get a supply back, to try to reverse hoover a person so that they'll end up contacting them or they'll end up going back and forth in exchange, whatever it might be. Other times they'll literally just stalk the person on social media just creepily just to see what's going on or just to mess with them.
What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to yet another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am diagnosed self-aware narcissist Lee Hammock, known as mental illness across all social media platforms. I use my platform to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, like myself, 4 years psychotherapy, pretty going strong, flexing on it. And also validate the victims and survivors of this disorder and the cluster B disorders as well. This series is dedicated to making my TikToks and YouTube shorts longer. They are 60 seconds or less. This will be a lot longer than 60 seconds. So, the TikTok you just watched was me. The feature is called Duet, y'all. So, there's me duetting or sharing the video of another self-aware narcissist named Ben Taylor. He's on TikTok, he's on YouTube. You can find his information in the description of this video. His raw motivations on YouTube everywhere, So he's another self-aware narcissist. He gives his perspective. Cluster B milkshake is another one. I'll put her information in the description as well. But that video was about stalking on social media, or online, or in person, or over the internet, or using other people. Like the key basis of this video right here is that narcissists don't want to let people go. Point blank period, 100% of the time. Like if they're stalking you, if they're watching you online, they still, like, a lot of narcissists think that they own you or that you belong to them. So they are trying to, in their minds or they're trying to exert their ownership on you by still following you on social media. That's why I tell y'all to block. Like, I don't want to block. They make it feel like, they told me if I block them, it's childish. How is blocking childish? Blocking allows you to heal. If you block somebody, this is cutting off.
Lee Hammock going ham. Man, this is a really nuanced topic. It's a nuanced discussion. We're talking about real stalking in the real world, people sitting outside your job when that kind of stuff. But we're also talking about energetic, spiritual stalking. All of it is here. The spirit of stalking. This is big, man. This is big. Let me get back to Jacksonville. Twan was telling us a little something. He had a story cooking. I hope he remembers where he left off. Twan, Jacksonville, get in here.
Yes, sir. I believe where I left off is that this guy, you guys should see his videos on YouTube. It's called The 13th Son. He gives all this good information about getting back into nature. What else he was saying? Killing parasites, stop eating meat, try to level up and everything. And then after a few years go by, he starts switching the message up after we, saying spared into all the nonsense he was talking. Then he was saying he was going too hard on the meat eaters, and it's okay to eat meat because it's in the scripture. You can eat the chicken and all this other stuff, And then he was saying you can another thing that was crazy. He got us putting up these sigils, what you call it, the pyramids of protection. He calls it, where we put a picture inside of a pyramid and some pennies, some collar pennies around it. It was like some witchcraft stuff. Yeah, so there was a lot going on within the
I'm
that
getting
cult or
scared,
whatever.
brother. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm getting
I
scared.
apologize, sir. That's not my intention.
I'm like,
It's a
what
lot,
in the
sir.
world? This is what in the world? Where's Bishop Ulmer at? I need, I need healing. What is going on, brother? So this is
It gets bigger than that. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
no, I'm asking the question though. Like, is this really happening in just everyday relationships? People are like going to the dark side and tapping into, praying against their partner and trying to usurp their energy. And is this real?
Yes, it is.
Wow, bro. Wow. I had no idea.
Okay.
No, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
Oh yeah, and he also had these things called palil shawls or talits or prayer shawls that he would sell also along with some beads, some prayer rugs, and some turbans and crowns and all this righteous stuff. He would spit this biblical scripture stuff also that make you sound better than other people. He was like, you should put a turban and crown on because it says in Leviticus 8:9 that the Most High or Elohim told Moses to put a turban and crown on and whatnot to represent his covenant and let him know he's part of the royal family and stuff like that. So we fed into all of that also, and we walking around here thinking that we're better than all these people, but we weren't. We were just being duped into believing that we were the stuff, but we weren't.
Hey, brother, let me just say, man, I appreciate you for bringing Jacksonville in the building. Thank you for enlightening us. I had no idea any of this was going down. Thank you, my friend. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. You already know what we got to do. You already know who's coming next. Nikki from the SIP. You already know what this is about. Come on. We need this music right now. I stood on one day. Come on, cleanse the space. Stood on the banks of Jordan. Yes, I did. Bring them on in. Come on. Nikki from the SIP, come on in here and get us right tonight. Lord have mercy. This has been a topic. Talk to us. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Okay. Consider it food for thought. Monitor spirits and stalkers at the same time. Monitor spirit rides in if you are perhaps at a low moment, maybe feeling loss of something, and maybe someone leans in to hug you, like in falling and transfers that spirit off of them onto you. So now it's riding in covertly. You don't recognize this riding in on you because you're in the low vibration place. But it's riding in. And because it's riding, then it turns into a stalker because it's laying in wait with that covert eye, listening, overhearing, ear hustling on what you may be meditating, praying, fasting, cleansing about or over. I think Big Mama telling us to mind our business was bigger than just not being nosy.
because sometimes people ear hustle over us talking to other people about plans, thoughts, goodness coming, what have you. And we are unaware that they may be waiting for an opportunity to become monitor spirits and just ride around with it. And impede, stop, slow down, alter, hinder, everything positive that you're calling in. We're not thinking about it in that sense. So they are stalking in a sense, in a real sense.
Oh, what happened to the phone?
I'm here.
Okay, go finish. We listening. Come on, I'm right here with you. Keep going.
When you put those two things together, and it's not always intimate relationships, meaning intimate partners, but it can be family members too. We don't consider them because that's why I said it was covert, because you're not looking for it to come from them. Now, Pookie and Ray Ray, we know about them, but we got a couple that we aren't really suspicious of in the same way. Consider those also. Because if you notice patterns of them being around, them having heard, or even heard from someone else indirectly, and impede the positive things coming in your cipher, that's a monitor spirit that's stalking you.
I'm scared. Just keep going, because I'm learning.
Don't be afraid. It's not an afraid, it's an awareness. Because the fact that it's covert means we don't see it coming usually. Because if you watch Constantine, if you saw needles coming out the ball, okay, we know that's a spirit, right?
Right.
So got them, but it's not that one.
Wait, so are you telling me this is happening in our everyday relationships with certain folk?
Yes.
How, well, okay, help me. How do we defend against said principalities? Like, I need to understand. How do you see them?
This right here.
Wait. Hold on. Hold tight. We're going to go for it, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Nikki is giving us a lesson in dealing with these monitoring spirits. Woo! Okay, where y'all put this one? Where y'all put this one? Of all the shows in 2024, where do y'all put this one? Where y'all rank this one? Somebody said number 1, top 3. What? And listen, according to Listen Notes, 0, no higher. According to Listen Notes, I have 376 episodes of The Voice of Reason. Do you know? And that's listed on Apple Music, 376 episodes. Man, we should be pushing these individual episodes from Apple or Spotify. You know, you can send individual episodes in a text message to folk. Man, we should be pushing these episodes. Listen, no one has ever, not Dash Radio, not Sirius XM, no one has ever gotten damn near 400 episodes out of Zoe Williams. Just a little piece. But hey, but not long. We top 3 on this show. We top 3. We did $34 on the super chat. We got 5 cash apps. Let's see. No, we got 4. That shit's crazy. That's crazy.
You know you want some more. More. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
But the way you parked your car sideways, that it wouldn't last. The kind of person believes in making out once, love him and leave him fast. Guess I must be dumb. She had a pocket full of horses, Trojan and some of them used. I guess that makes it alright. You said, what have I got to lose? Honey, I said, little red Corvette. Baby, you're much too fast. Phew.
Here is a clear indication of who a monitoring spirit is. Okay. A monitoring spirit is a person that does not have pure, genuine intentions for you. These are the people that have ill intentions for you. They have a hidden agenda. These are the people that have not been genuine with you from the moment you met them. These people have shown you time and time again that they...
Oh my God. Nikki from the SIP, please continue your thought. Wrap your final thought for us, please, because you was cooking.
We do this right here, which is make each other aware that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever deities you follow, pray, cleanse, incense, oil, all of that. And when your spidey sense goes off, believe it.
I believe it. I believe
and then
it.
act accordingly.
Nikki from the SIP, guess what?
I'm about to sip in the building. I love you.
We love you, Nikki from the SIP. Please keep praying for your brother Zoe Williams. I swear to God, I need everybody to pray for me this evening. We love it. Nzinga from Pensacola, Florida, get in here.
Hey, Mr. I just wanted to say really quickly, a long time when Mr. Kevin Samuels passed away, and people were saying that they, had somehow conjured his death. You were very emphatic about people not being able to do that. So I just need you to transfer that energy to yourself.
No, I got it.
I think that more people are praying PRAYNG for you than anybody could be PREYING on you.
I got you. I'm riding. Yes.
It's a lot of, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, and I'm not saying people aren't doing it, but they don't have the power to do that. And for every one that they do, they have to get, something gets taken from them as well.
Yes.
So, there's that. So I wouldn't even worry about that, and you just do what you gotta do.
Oh, we love you, Nzinga. Thank you for bringing Pensacola in the building. And you already know LA showed up at the end. South Central LA. You already know what it is. One of the legends from LA. You already know. JW. Talk to us, JW.
Yes, sir. I knew I'd be last, and I'll make it real quick. My ex, I won't go in detail. I didn't even have no idea that she would go to that hoodoo store, and after she offered to take me
And then I realized, wow. But I knew she had what you call abandon issue because I had left a few times and kept coming back for specific reasons. I'm not going to go in detail because people might be listening. But here's the odd thing. Every time I would inadvertently mention her or somebody would bring her up in conversation and I would mention her name, she would call. Or she would knock on the front door. And we're talking about months, years later. I thought that was odd, bizarre. So I do believe in folks that practice voodoo. I do believe in narcissistic. I do believe in stalkers. I do believe in all of the above that you mentioned. Even though I called most of the show at the tail end, but yes, it applies and it happens in real life. And that's real talk.
I believe
you
you.
have to be careful. And you got to watch what you say because, like you said, you got people that have hidden agendas and they're plotting and crafty and their motives aren't sincere. And as the old folks used to say back in the 20s, they got their angle. What's your angle, Cookie? Hey, Dang.
What's your angle?
Cookie, what's your angle?
Yes, sir.
Pay attention.
Hey, J-Dub, man, let me just say, man, I appreciate you for calling in, man. You brought L.A. in the building. Always love when L.A. represents big time. We appreciate you. I don't even know what to say. I mean, let me just say how much I love black folk. We some spiritual folk, man. Even if it don't matter, we could be Muslim, we could be Christian, we could be whatever belief system. We know when something off. And you heard it tonight. Our people called in and told us what's up. So guess what? I start the conversations. You finish it. Up next, Tavis on the 9s. He starts at 9 a.m., but he also finishes with the replay at 9 p.m. after the VOR. Again, I start the conversation. You finish it. Hey, I'll see y'all tomorrow with another fire topic. Deuces. Whoa, 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 whoa. Man, tonight's show dumb as hell. It was dumb as hell. Yo.
Hey, that was the devil talking while what's the name was.
Hey, something was happening. I don't know.
I was like, who was that talking?
Great show, great show, great show. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fire show. Holla at y'all later. Deuces.